twitch.tv/Fate of Isen.
Oh, hi. Everybody. We're on. How you going? What are you doing,
I
Brad?
just wanted to let that run for a while.
Right, yeah, okay, cool.
So mystery has been spoiled.
Yeah, I don't know how. I'm really upset.
Voices.
I put it on mute. I hate my life.
Sailor V. The best of the Sailor Scouts.
Hello, everyone. Who's going to drive this thing?
Yeah, you're driving it.
Yeah, okay. Give me, 3 seconds. Literally 3 seconds. Hey! 3 seconds. That's what she said. So, hello, everybody. It is our 3-year anniversary of being a podcast. Hooray! Now would be a better time for that cheering sound effect, but I don't want to overuse it. I don't want to. Let's try something else. Ready? Oh, dramatic. What we were going to do, talk a little bit of shit about the podcast, just have a bit of fun, be a bit silly. I asked some questions on our Patreon Discord today, which of course devolved into chaos and silliness and nonsense, which every single thing does, and I love and appreciate you all, so thank you for that. And then we will have a giveaway. We've got 3 things to give away, so 2 different sets of dice from our partners Dice Envy. Dice Envy? No, I've been listening to way too many American podcasts. Dice Vault, sorry Damien. Dicevault.co.nz has very kindly donated some dice for us to give away, and also one lucky listener will be getting a t-shirt from our merch store. There's a range of designs there that whoever wins can get in touch with us, or we can get in touch with them, and they can decide what they want. It can just be a gigantic picture of Oliver's face, or Jules's face, or JD's face, or Josh's face. In character form, of course, because we don't have an actual t-shirt of Josh's face. But there is a
But don't ask for Brad's face. Oh, you better don't.
You better don't, because there ain't no Brad face t-shirt. Yet. I will hand it over first to just casual conversation, scripted, and structured with my players. So, hello, players.
Hi, Brad.
I love that instant response there. Like,
sorry, I was
interested.
I was cursing myself for spoiling because it turns out I don't know how to mute on OBS Streamlabs, so that's fun. Someone should teach me things. So hi, I'm Marley Craft. If you're here, having seen heard the podcast but never seen us, so I'm Jules. I play Marley Craft.
Okay, excellent. And who's this other fantastic person on our screens?
I'm JD. I am a cloud demon. I'm here to steal all your rainwater and make it a part of the Scientology water cycle. I play Arcus.
Oh, good. Okay, and so at the point we are at right now, we are in the middle of 6, or some part way through chapter 6, and things are sort of nearing this long-awaited date of the Surge, this big world-changing event. How are you guys feeling about that as characters and as players? Sort of in-game, we're like 3 days away from it. Which for us is like 2 years of play, so.
It's difficult because it's, it's world changing.
Just can't handle it. My world's not ready.
My world's been shaken. You'd say that, like, my defensive has been disarmed. My shield is down, if you will.
The chat is apparently saying, "Play us a song, Marley."
I know,
And-
I can hear, but can you guys still hear me, chat? Because I'm trying to fix that echo. Yes? Good, I hope.
And KP says Brad is too low. What do you mean, KP?
Just get
In
closer to
energy?
the bloody microphone, Brad. That's what they mean.
Hi, KP, how's this? Is this any better for you?
Yeah, that's much better.
ASMR Fate of Isen.
I don't have a song ready because I don't have background music, but I could try, maybe. I don't know. Much worse. What the hell is that? Hey, Brad, play the loop.
Action music. I use these for Sunday night stream. Just silly level 21 shot.
Nice. I think Marley is pretty apprehensive about the whole thing on lots of levels. Yes, they may die. And also, she might be meeting Tap again, so that's fun.
I love
Like-
how the world is like potentially going to end, and like she's sort of made it. Like the most important part of it for her is that she may or may not get to see her childhood boyfriend like before then.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you know, as we all know, Marley's a virgin, and she's been waiting for the right person. So, you know, it's been a while. Yeah.
I haven't thought about whether or not Arcus has had sex.
Cumulus do that. We can leave that up to you as the only resident Cumulus in the podcast, apart from maybe Swift. And you know that guy fuck.
Hey, Brad, the chat want to know if the DM's a virgin.
The DM has 2 kids.
Hey, and I resent the fact that apparently all DMs are virgins. You know, D&D is so hot right now.
DMs get laid ones of times.
But Brad, do we address the mystery guest amongst our midst?
I think we do, because they are currently just sitting there making faces at us. That the
Because I'm sure
wonderful audience
this
doesn't get to see.
mystery guest has some thoughts about the world-ending event and how it might apply to them.
Yeah. Let's reveal! Oh, hang on. I've got a drum roll for this.
Woo, yay, hooray!
Hey!
Oh, me! Hey!
Hit him!
It him!
Hit your boy.
It was a surprise.
I love waffle sarcastic. What a surprise.
You know what? Shush, you guys. I worked really hard on that. Act surprise, okay?
I got a Facebook message about 3 days ago. It was like, "Hey, bro, do you want to be on the fucking thing again?" I'm like, "Yeah, man." As much as the surge is interesting, I feel like we could really just dig a little bit deeper on Cloudfuck and whether or not it's happened.
Yeah, let's get that ironed out.
Like, I've inhaled a couple of brisk mists, particularly with this polar vortex that we're dealing with at the moment. National news, no way. And look, it's a thing.
Well, I have to figure out how it fits into the water cycle,
Yeah, you do. What's up?
because evaporation is where people come from.
Hey!
You can't just make something a euphemism by saying it in a sketchy tone.
Absolutely.
It's not.
But-
Get your tone. Hey.
Hey, JD, how about this, though? One of the people in the chat, Captain Pirouette, cumulus on your face.
Look,
Yeah,
say
totally.
fucking bon.
Anybody drinking in chat? Anybody drinking? I'm cracking the Abalor.
You know what? I'm drinking gin with a bit of
You guys
in
are
it,
all
'cause I'm
drinking.
weird.
Father.
Brad!
Alcohol.
That is very strong.
That's because you don't normally drink.
Yeah.
How are you guys liking the storm? How is the storm?
Did you do it? Did you do it, Arcus? The storm in New Zealand. Did you do
It's
it?
my wrath.
Excellent.
On
Hey,
brand.
hey, Banfor. Hey, Oliver. How have you been?
Hello, it's me. How are you? I'm going to be very unhelpful with conversations regarding the current state of the Fate of Isen.
No, but that's
We
okay.
don't need to talk about the current state.
No,
You
we
left
talk about
us
sort of
almost a year
everything.
ago, actually.
Yeah, about a year ago. And I've been thinking about
my
my
God.
place and what I've been doing. So what, chronologically, how much time has passed since then to now in world?
Sweet dick all. It's been like 4 days.
I mean, we joined the Resistance, I think, chronologically 4 weeks ago.
2 months. About 2 months ago.
Look, it's not been a long time, but it's been a good time.
Right?
Yeah, we've literally been without you for 4 days, and Arcus already thinks that they have a way to, like, bring you back. Potentially.
Wow.
Arcus is learning some pretty dope spells, and one of them is basically go visit Banfor. Like, that's the spell.
Or it could be go home from whence you came.
I mean, either
is
way,
this
it's a fun
dimensional
concept.
shift, right?
Yeah.
Like, I could go back home, so it sorts out that issue for Arcus.
Yeah, what I was going to do with that, JD, is because I didn't know that you were ever going to have that spell like come upon your horizon. Is that like eventually I'd have the Deus Ex Machina or Demon Ex Machina, I suppose, of Swift would just be like, "Hey, Lord Arcus, you're here. Well, I can take you home," and then just take you home. I didn't know you were here.
Nice.
Should we get to some of the silly billy questions?
I love questions.
Our Patreon Discord asked today, because those beautiful bonkers make up the majority of the chat.
And they were so
Beautiful
on
bonkers.
time and so here for us. And I love that about them. I love you all so much.
They were here on time to have their spoiled surprise. So
Yeah, yeah. If anybody out there knows how to mute on Streamlabs OBS, please hit at me.
we'll jump straight to this one from Gerard, who's in the chat, because this harkens back to the question about who is and isn't a virgin. So this is,
Nice. Here for it.
so he's asked, is Alarcon a virgin, and is that why he has big virgin energy? So Alarcon is one of the major villains of the Surge campaign. So people who haven't listened to those episodes won't know. But yeah, he's like this really well-connected crime boss / evil wizard who like specializes in mind magic and stuff. And I'm gonna make a hard ruling here that he is a virgin. He has focused all of his time on his studies. That's how he's become such a powerful mage and such a powerful crime boss. Is that it's all focus. He's like, no dicks or other things for me. Don't know why I defaulted to wanting dicks. I don't know.
I don't know why you defaulted to not being able to see vagina.
I'm so distracted by while I'm trying to talk about this character, this boss, there's a bouncing cat appearing on the screen.
Kind of
And
everything.
And the chat is just all about it, so...
Of course. Because everybody
You know-
loves Muesli. Look at his face. Oh, he loves me so much. He puts up with all of my
I
bollocks.
agree with Gareth What's-His-Face, Ari Cat, in their place in this country and in the living world.
Oh, man.
Here is a controversial question. You want to... Yep.
Oh,
Sorry,
just
David.
at the end of the day, virginity, it's all a construct. Right?
Fuck by capitalism.
Yeah, exactly. We're all taking it rough up the ass by capitalism. And it's the oceans that are paying for it. Next question.
Raspberry Milkshake is just asked in the chat, is the Ziggler a virgin? But you know that woman fucks.
No,
She has the
yeah,
confidence-
yeah.
She has the confidence of someone who gets it when she wants it.
She's Angelina Jolie in every film that Angelina Jolie is in. You know she's hot. but you don't think it's recently, but you know it was awesome, but you can't imagine who she would have allowed that to happen with. But you know it's pretty fucking cool.
I love that this is
that.
how our live stream has started.
What a fuck chat.
Yeah.
What a fuck chat.
So yeah, I guess while we're in that territory, another one that was asked by Squished, or otherwise known as Reese, from our Discord, is this one's for all of us to answer. Is the gods of Isen, fuck, marry, kill?
Ooh. Ooh. Okay.
There's more than 3. Chuck us a heavy 3, and we'll make the call.
What do you reckon about Haydet? Good old yeah boy.
I mean, it's got to be like. I mean, if we went
You have to know all 3 of them, though, right?
Yeah,
Because
like
that determines the placement of the others.
if
I
we
need
went with the
3.
3 that we've come across, so Sorgamore, Haydet, and which one have we come across? Other one.
What about the one I pray to?
Yeah, or Bamfor and I have come across Kashtar as Jeff and Simon. So yeah, so we could do that one, or I mean, Marley's come across a few others,
Sasha and the Surge people have come across Sikdaman, the god of truth and justice, and Freylin, the god of dreams, who's like a big elven butterfly lady.
Yeah.
Kill her. Elves are terrible. They don't belong in any fantasy series. They're just annoying rich people.
Robert, Irene, and Monty have come across Grim, the god of suffering and plague, who is a gigantic, like, cruise ship-sized wolf with mangy fur.
Yep.
You'd definitely fuck that one, wouldn't you, Oliver?
And
100%.
and Zinth plays Zinth and Urzak play a big part in Hallowed Festival of Frights, my very first one-shot. They are the reason that the Haunted Mansion is haunted, so...
So who are our 3 options?
Spoilers.
Let's
who are our
see.
3 options?
Out of the major players, Haydet, Urzak, Sorgamore. So knowledge, chaos, death. Fuck, marry, kill.
Well, you marry death, you fuck chaos, and you murder knowledge. It's the way I live my life, and it's the way I'll always continue to do.
That's what my tattoos say.
I mean, this depends. Am I asking this as... answering this as Jules, or answering this as Marley?
Is there a difference?
I mean, there is, actually. I know that it feels very minor, but... like, Jules really likes Hate It because, actually, I'm a big lore fan, so we get a lot of our world lore from Hate It, and so I kind of like his place in the world, but Marley just has a real problem with Hate It for some reason, so, I think Hate It would die. Sorgamore, I mean, is a wee little girl, so marry?
I suppose that's better than...
Yeah. And so I guess that leaves
There's
me...
my wife I'm raising.
I guess that leaves me fucking Urzak, so that's fun. I mean, that's chaos. You never know what's going to happen. It's basically like a rotating orgy, right? Like one of those...
Like fucking, it's like
It's
trying
like-
to have sex with jazz.
What was that call? Like that video call thing?
There isn't it.
Chat roulette. It's like... Screwing Urzak would be like chat roulette.
Where it's like 38 guys masturbating and one terrified girl.
I've seen that video.
Yeah, that would be me. Yeah.
I just need to say, because someone in the chat has typed this, so I feel like I have to say it. It's Meat Week, baby! That's for you, Captain Pirouette.
I love it.
Okay, so here's a controversial one. Marmite or Vegemite that was brought up by the Discord.
It's obviously Marmite.
Obviously Marmite. JD, if you Vegemite right now, you're out of the podcast.
No, I think I've brought this up before, but I have an aversion to things that were like specifically targeted to me for being either Australian or New Zealand as a kid, because I had family in both places. And in New Zealand and Australia, very like Vegemite, Marmite. So I don't like either of the yeast products. Actually, I will. If I'm going to spread something on my food, it's going to be something delicious like peanut butter or Nutella, because I don't hate myself. And I like, took a turn.
Rough.
Well, here's a follow-up question from me. Is it Nutella or Nutella? I say Nutella, but I've heard Americans say Nutella, and that's disgusting because it's not made from
Americans are wrong about
hazelnuts.
so many things, apart from the Iraq War, which we can all agree was a great idea.
Are they Canadian Americans? Because then I understand the Nutella.
I don't know. I've just heard it many times.
It says nut at the front.
It does say nut on it, so I'm also confused as to why it would happen if it weren't for a like strong accent,
Best position to be in.
There's one coming up behind you.
like the Canucks have.
yeah.
I'm
gonna try to think about-
So, they're just wrong about so many things, but you know they're rich and have a huge army. So
What a funny joke.
Squished also asked, why does no one know Marley?
Oh, well, that's obvious. Like, I mean, look at Marley's back history. I mean, she got kidnapped by a mountain. Do I have to sing it again? Like, she got kidnapped by a mountain reaver, so she was kind of like obviously not known during that whole part. And then she went to play in a royal court on the other side of Isen from where they all are now. So while people in the court over there might know her, nobody on this side knows her at all.
and it's been 4 weeks.
And it's been 4 weeks since she joined the Resistance
Everyone
and
gets around
started
that
touring.
world had horses.
Yeah, I feel like people don't know her yet, but she just thinks that more people should.
So she's doing the whole fake it till you make it thing. So everywhere she goes, she acts like she's already famous in the hopes that people like cling to that and go, I guess she's famous.
yeah,
She's on Instagram.
100%.
A joke about the modern cultural context. It's your boy, me, who has no idea what Instagram's for.
Oh, why don't people like Nio? She just wants to take care of people and not get injured. That's a question from KP. And I feel like that's
Exactly.
aimed at Oliver, as if she knew he would be here.
I mean,
Yeah.
have you met her? I mean,
Yeah.
have you met her?
I mean, I was Nio.
Exactly.
Oh, that's the real underlying issue.
You know
It's just
how
that Oliver hates Brad.
You get to throw your DM down a bunch of stairs and or use them as a weapon against things in the form of a frail childlike being. It's infrequently. And you also, you know what's hilarious? Is punching down. Because
That's so
tell you what.
brutal.
I'll tell you what, it's real easy and a lot of fun.
Well, Banful is 7 foot tall, so everything he does is punching down.
Right?
Yeah.
And we assume he's, you know, a member of whatever class doesn't get you run out of a town because of the way you look. So, you know, socially and physically.
Wow. Okay. So I guess this is a question for me from KP. Is Isen the only world where all 12 gods overlap? Yes, it is. Simple. That's how it became the material realm. Is that it's the one place where all 12 gods have influence. Are there any other gods that we don't know about? No. But a long time ago in Isen's history, people worshipped the Torchwoods, who were the sorcerers who created the Brute Wall. So they were worshipped for a while as the unnamed saviors. And there was also Anfer and Gilif. They were sort of worshipped for a time as well, as when they were both tried to start their own religions. They were never really gods, but people thought that they were. There is Zinth, the god of lies, the opposite of both Haydet, knowledge, and Sikdaman, truth and justice. No. Yes, no, kind of. There are 8 gods who are like opposites. So there's like life and death, order and chaos, truth and lies, prosperity and suffering. But then the last 4 are kind of more nebulous. But I sort of group them as knowledge versus dreams. So knowledge is sort of like what is, and dreams is like what could be. And then the last 2 are Tritora, which is weather and elements, which is sort of like the forces of nature that you can't change. And then Crover, which is the god of power, which is sort of like power is choice is the ultimate power, and so it's things that you can change. It's being able to have influence over things. So that's how I group them. But I don't really see lies as the opposite of knowledge.
Deep.
The best lies have some truth in them.
Yeah, well, Zinth, God of Lies, is commonly worshipped by performers. Because what is a performance but not a lie?
A facade. All the world's a stage.
I don't know why I did that, but I felt...
That's what you do on a stage, right, Brad? That's what you've done on stages.
Yeah, that's what I do. I used to do stand-up, but I gave up 4 years ago because my best bit was... I would just do that for like 10
Hey, that's a
minutes
pretty good
straight.
bit, man.
People would be booing after 45 seconds.
Standard white guy.
So that is... there were a lot of questions on the...
Do more. Do the problematic one.
The only one left that's sort of real is from like a real question that wasn't just part of
Everybody who
chaos.
hasn't had a question come out and isn't this question, know that Brad doesn't think that you're worth his time.
Well, because the Discord completely devolved into a conversation about clam juice for some reason.
No, that's actually true.
Why?
Yeah.
But like Big Cat NZ, who
Big cat.
who's Andrew M.
Oh, kia ora, Andrew.
Yeah.
I know you.
Yeah, so he asked the only like real
Hashtag
question that
real.
remains. But before we get to Andrew's question, which is a really good one, and it's a good one for Oliver to have a lot to say about too, is the final thing that KP added was, and this isn't a question, but this I wrote this down because I loved it, is they said that KP said, I've told at least 10 people about Isen. I once paused an episode to call my mum about it because Brad said to. Because in my intros and outros, I will often just make up weird random things like tell your high school janitor about Fate of Isen and things like that. And they added, I was on the phone with my friend while she was shopping half a country away, and I made her tell the cashier about Isen. So, thank you,
So
KP.
recognize this person.
KP, you are fighting the good fight, and
That's
I
so
know
cute.
that you are the one person who's bought the Brick Rolls a Con Save T-shirt from our merch store. Thank you for that.
But also potentially like a future Ted Kaczynski, because that's a lot of energy. There's a lot of energy and a lot of focus, and I'd love to see it, and I would hate for it to be directed against me.
And so the last question that's a proper question is, so Andrew / Big Cat NZ says, I want to know about the impacts of the Coyote / mouse sentience on the wider Isen. Like, are people freaking out that rodents can talk now? Also, is there an evil rat society? So as just a wider Isen, I think people are freaking out a little, but since the mice are showing quite industrious sentience, that's not all that terrifying as it is sort of confusing and mesmerizing. And this is a world with magic and gods and things like that. But in terms of anything more than that, I will allow Oliver free reign to tell me how that's going in the world.
So what we're doing right now is setting canon.
The only caveat is that there is already a huge... the Vice District that you were in charge of, Oliver, has now been completely taken over by mousefolk called Coyote.
Cool.
And it is called Banfor City. It is its own city-state within Stonemore.
See, now Bamferton is a lot more fun. But here's the thing. That's fine.
That was created by Waffles, who guested with us
Banfor City is way better. And
a long time.
Your opinion matters to me.
But other than that, like the greater world at large, like have at it, buddy. Like
Well, I
cannon
mean,
your
we've
way
got
up.
4 weeks, so your average sort of gestation and birth cycle for your mouse folks. Assuming that, so one of two things are happening. Either mice that are born from this colony are of that higher intelligence and yada yada yada, or there is a effect of interaction taking place. So these mice can elevate others, right? So that needs to be, I think, that needs to be a DM decision. Is this a genetic trait or is this a learnable trait?
I would say
playing hot
Or
potato with the rules.
I would say that they are increasing in intelligence and industriousness by the day. So they are evolving in quick time.
So this is not world over. This is specifically this.
It is
Group of
starting.
mice.
Yeah, it is starting from the mice that Banfor left behind. It's from all the mice that interacted with you. But you have repeatedly spread the mice on your
I
person
have done that.
to
Yeah,
the
I have
wind.
done that.
So
Yeah. Fair thing I've been doing.
you are the epicenter, but it is worldwide.
Yeah, cool. So what we're also not taking into account is the effect of the drug trade, particularly in Banfor City, and the fact that tiny little hands can also make a lot of drugs. So what you're not seeing is the mouse drug dealers and their effect on society, because they can get pretty much anywhere. So you think oh look, we're just going to have a little council meeting, make some decisions about roading policy. Turns out that little drink of wine you had, that's got drugs in it. So we're
Going to have to set up a counter drug squad of mice cops.
Yeah,
Task
well,
force.
here's the thing, is that
Task
it's a
force,
homogenous
task
society,
force.
because it's also very brutal. So we've got the giant overarching sort of goal that obviously we won't share because they haven't made it up yet. But at this point, what we're seeing is a spread not just of the visible industry of mice, but a supplanting of the existing sort of intelligentsia of the city by sort of tactical drugging. So
Tactical
that's one part of it that's really quite important. Why is the Queen being so frivolous? It's because she's been given MDMA. But more importantly, so the mice, in my conception of them, they've sort of woken up and begun this very quick technological evolution, and sort of started out as these, fellas who were just quite close to a lot of magic and quite close to a lot of sort of power and that sort of thing. And then I just thought it would be really fun if they started sort of evolving their own society and were sort of, panspermiaed through and became this weird sort of diaspora people that would later sort of just outbreed everyone. So as mice will, assuming the sped up timeline thing, I would expect them to have, some pretty huge numbers, and to be creating a society in the cracks and in the shadows of the thing. They don't eat a huge amount by tonnage, I would say, so they're able to sort of get away with a lot of filching, a lot of stealing, but also under the city, there's huge amounts of sewers where you can grow things like mushrooms and stuff like that. It doesn't need particular sunlight. So I would expect some sort of mouse hive scenario to go on, some sort of game of shrooms, so to speak, some sort of cutthroat skullduggery. The co-opting of other animal species through both breeding and and sort of direct husbandry. What's the place of rats in this society? I would expect them to be sort of a beast of burden and or of war.
I like that.
Does the
They
pigeon
unleash the
population
rats.
become completely dependent upon mice by a system of the taking of hatchlings and inculcation of them into the mousehood way of thinking? I think yes. I have
to say, we've missed you.
Right? I've just sort of decided to say a whole bunch of long and difficult words that I know, simply because I haven't had an audience for a while. So I want people I don't know to think I'm smart. So
I honestly keyed out.
I think in general they'll be working towards fashioning their own society. They'll be aware of how tenuous their grip is right now, and that if the human population sort of notices their ability or for some reason decides that they don't want them around, they are in a very fragile state. So they'll be both keeping quiet, not stepping on toes, although they couldn't, could they? And also working towards some sort of either social manipulation or the creation of a technology or resource that will sort of make them important to the world and sort of cement their place. What was the question?
I like that the chat's going off about how Oliver just took the question and ran with it. Like,
Yeah, that's Andrew saying that. Okay.
I
and
missed
yeah,
you, Oliver.
Hi, Jules. I missed you too. Congratulations on home ownership.
Oh, thanks. Do you know, it's this house, the one that I'm living in, the
No
one that
way.
I've been flatting in. I bought the house that I live in, so I cracked home ownership. I don't even need to move. I love my life.
Well, as part of the problem, thank you all very much for the new car. So,
For anyone who didn't get that joke, Oliver's a real estate agent. Just making sure that's known.
Yeah, I basically bought this house for muesli because it's really hard to like rent with a cat, and I was a bit worried about having to move again. So, yeah, muesli's the reason I'm a homeowner, which is crazy when you think about it. But
Expensive cat toy.
yeah.
I
Look at
don't
my
regret
cat
that.
It was $800,000.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the formal like question side of it.
Wow, nobody
guess-
else posted any questions? I feel like KP posted like 5 million questions.
There were many questions. There was a point in the day where I had to kind of stop writing them down. There's a question from me that I've been wanting to ask once I was able to get all of you together. Is what is a choice that your character has made that you would, if you had a chance to go back and do it differently, you would?
Probably wouldn't have killed all those goblins. But it seemed really funny at the time.
It was perfect for that live show. That live show was insane.
Yeah, it was fun, but I felt bad. I always feel bad in video games or in D&D if I'm mean to characters. I always regret it.
Right, in Fable, I could never go down the dark path. I would like always sort of like dip my toes and like kick a chicken and then be like, oh, I'm real sorry, man.
I had that problem with Mass Effect. I'd be like,
Right.
this time I'm going to be Renegade. And then I'd be like, oh, Paragon again. Couldn't do it.
We are too good, Jules. We are too good.
We've both literally just killed characters in this session for no reason at all.
I mean, Tom nailed it in the chat. Kill Trantis, definitely, and utterly rolls some kind of insight check on him.
Honestly, I probably
Anything?
would have just like finished Trantis's job, you know? I declare him a coward who can't follow through with things.
Yeah, I don't know if there's much that Marley would change. I know that she's done some really dumb things, but maybe thunder waving the wolf puppies off a cliff, only because every single Fatey gives me so much crap about it.
We did murder a lot of dogs.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like I kind of like every choice that Marley has made because it has made her go a certain way. You know, it's sort of like living life. You know, like you can't hate the past because you are where you are now. You know. I just
think I've made so many great decisions.
No, it's not about that. I think she's made some terrible decisions, but
all my decisions are my decisions, but because I'm great, they're great.
Yeah, I just kind of I'm okay with where we are now. I feel like we're sort of set up to like take on the big bad as well as we can.
You've developed a trauma response, a Stockholm syndrome to the choices we've made.
Maybe.
You've come to accept them and attached to them.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Waffles has added in the chat that you killing the puppies is how we got Hodge.
I mean, that is true, because without that, Brad wouldn't have chosen a wolf as my companion, I'm absolutely sure. Because I had...
It was going to be a spider. It was going to be Steven, wasn't it?
But I had said to Brad,
iconic.
it was his choice and his, you know, like, kind of roleplay as to how my companion came into being. So, I guess that's true. Yeah.
I miss Steven too, KP. Just letting you know that.
I miss Drunk
every
Marley!
day.
Because what was Drunk Marley doing when she was walking down that hallway, innit?
Soldier Marley from Depton.
No, that's Soldier Marley from Depton. That's so different.
Completely different.
A new question
By the
has just
way,
come
your
into
voice
the
work, incredible.
A new question has just come into the chat that I think would be pretty fun to get all of your takes on this. Is if you had to explain Fate of Isen to someone who has never seen or heard it before, like how would you do that?
Not worth your time, really.
I re-listened actually to. I started re-listening to chapter 1 because I wanted to pick up on some old story threads that I had like left hanging, and there's a point where Jules brings up Drunks and Dragons, and Oliver, you go, "That's a way better podcast. Stop listening to this. Listen to that." And I was like, "Fuck you."
I haven't changed my style.
I mean, they're not even called that anymore. To be relevant now, they're called Greetings Adventurers, and they're still really good. Like, really, 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 really good.
I think they're live streaming, actually. If you guys all head over to Twitch TV / whatever Jules.
If you had to explain it, I mean, a group of adventurers trying to save the world of Isen from falling into chaos in literally the most funny and backwards way possible. Maybe. Something like that.
I mean,
don't know.
I
That's
have
a
to I
very-
have to market it. I have to market it everywhere, and I usually would say something along the lines of, like, unlikely heroes fumble their way through saving the world.
Because if you start listening to this podcast, you obviously start at episode 1, chapter 1, where we're like, where are my dice?
What do I roll here?
Oh god, it was so painful.
I've edited a lot of Josh out of
Yeah.
the early ones, of him being like, "What one's a D4? Is this one? Are you sure it's not this one? No, it's this one, the one with 4 sides. Oh, are you sure?" I'm like, yes. And he'll go, "I got a 5." And you're like, it was a D4. What? A D4? How'd you get a 5? What? I was like, fuck.
Because we started this
Fantasy, friendship,
table
fun.
in my flat in Mount Victoria,
Fucks.
I believe.
Yes, yeah, we did. Only Brad and I had actually already been playing some TTRPG together when we decided to start this thing. So we were actually started in Pathfinder.
With Gerard.
Yeah, with
And
Gerard.
Craig and Carl.
Yeah, and it was really fun. Like, and then we were. I think some people moved away, and then the game changed, and then we decided to play D&D instead of Pathfinder. And then we were like, hey, you know what would be fun if we did a podcast? And that's just kind of how this started.
And Gerard and Craig were like, "No, that sounds dumb. No one would listen to that."
Oh, look at us now, Gerard.
But Oliver said,
Still nobody's listening.
"Okay."
Oliver was like, I have delusions of grandeur and I'm trying to set up a podcast network, having never done a podcast before. And I was like, wow, this is a lot of work. Hey, Brad.
Yeah, it was a good time. I guess when I'm talking to people at conventions about what Fate of Isen is, I just say it's a bunch of comedians playing D&D, not taking ourselves too seriously. Yeah, we're on an adventure to save the world, just like any other actual players, but we have a bit of fun on the way while we're doing it. And it's a lot of roleplay, and it's quite good. So, I don't know, I think that's kind of who we are. Not taking ourselves seriously, and we're definitely not a dark kind of podcast. You know how some of them can be quite like, there's like the Call of Cthulhu ones can get quite deep and dark and into all sorts of make you feel, you know, but that's not our game. Right in the middle of when it's stressful and combat is at its worst, we're still cracking jokes, you know, so that's who we are. If you've stumbled across us in this live stream and you're wondering what on earth these people are.
Like, this is the only D&D I've played, because, you know, I'm a huge nerd. And, kidding. No, I am.
Virgin.
I actually just got off of a 2.5-hour World War II documentary series just about transport and logistics, so right there with you, buddy. But
I thought there was going to be a counteraction to the Virgin claim, but it wasn't. It was just like a solidifying.
really digging in deep.
Yeah, he's like
stuff about the development from horse-based transport through to full mechanization, particularly around blitzkrieg tactics, and how that sort of blended over to other Axis forces. via a series of.
I know you're a nerd.
Anywho, but we don't play like normal people. Is that right? Like when you play D&D, as somebody who actually knows what they're doing, do you do it the way that we do it?
I mean, there is no... Okay, so I explain this at conventions all the time. I'm sorry, Brad, I'm going to take this one again. There is no bad, wrong way to play D&D. There is no bad, wrong, fun here. So any way you want to play it is the right way to play it. You want to follow all the rules, go for it. You want to follow half of the rules and kind of make up the rest of them on your own. Cool. I feel very, very strongly about that. D&D is what you want it to be. That's
simply format-wise. Like, is there usually more sort of like incidences and like dungeon clearing and that sort of stuff, and less mucking around, or is it more like I'm going to barter with this shopkeeper?
It depends on the DM and it depends on the DM and the players and like what they all agree to and sort of who. I with the podcast, I very quickly gave the players the reins. And regretted that immediately because what I had initially planned for the first session and I thought would be the first episode ended up being the first 8 episodes of Chapter 1, where you ended up... I had planned that you would meet and you would like get your mission, go across the river, get to the supply cache underneath Dapton and fight the Minotaur. That was what I had planned for the first session. That took 8 hours.
I mean, that's classic newbie DM.
I wasn't a new DM, but I was new to that group of players, and I was like, if I put this in front of them, they'll just go and do it. And then they didn't go and do it, and I just let it happen. I
guess every group plays differently. Like even the differences between the Surge campaign, who Craig and Gerard aren't sort of here, and the Apple Squadeth campaign. Like, we do a lot more screwing around, a lot more role plays. Surge is, for as long as we have taken to get what we have done, we are more on mission. You know, like it's very, where's the next town? Where's the next thing? How is this going to work? What spell do I need to use to kill this monster? You know, like it's very like that. This one's got a lot more play to it. I mean, it depends, because, like, this is a homebrew world, too. So Brad literally makes everything up out of his head, you know? If you play, like, I don't know, like, any of the preset adventures, you know, like the Ghosts of Saltmarsh or the Icewind Dales or whatever, like, they have very set story structure to follow, but they also create a world. So... it depends on whether the party follows the story or mucks around in the world. So, yeah.
My favorite example of me letting, or the game master, but in this case it is me, letting the players like just turn something into what it wasn't intended to be, was in the Arcus backstories with JD, George, and Troy, where I had planned it to be a short one-shot, like an hour and a half. It ended up being like 4 game sessions that I split into 8 episodes.
Where we do nothing.
Where almost all of it is nothing. It's like they had like 3 fights and all of that. It was meant to just be a quick introduction, like here's the game system I made up, here's a little story of where Arcus is from, ta-da! And it turned into so much more than I had planned. But that's good. That's really good. I am so happy it did.
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised because we'd get to the end of the session and be like, I guess we'll pick up next week. We'll do another one.
Well, I felt like Troy and George were like, can we go again? Like, next week? Like, can we? I'm like, okay, if that's not enough story for you, we'll try it. We'll try finish it next time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool.
It was nice
to
work with them.
I love my little side episodes too. Those tend to actually be like, I edit them down a lot to try and get them to like 3 hours, but those little side episodes are often like 5 hours of play as well. So, shrug. And they're only supposed to be one little thing you get done, you know? Yeah.
So I guess what we'll do now is, just because there's no intention for this to be like the longest stream in the world. Ha! You're all here for 12 hours. Strap in, losers.
They literally can't leave.
I guess. I mean, we'll just if anyone's got anything they want to just add
Someone
about
just left.
Pardon?
Someone just left.
If anyone has anything they just want to add about their experience with the podcast, or anything that you want to say to the people in the chat or to each other, and then we'll just move on to rolling a dice for our giveaway. We got a convenient amount of entries, by the way.
No.
Is it 4?
20.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
technically 21, but one of them is Jules. So I will count that one out and roll a d20.
I voted for Hodge. Because he's my boy. Yeah, Hodge. Oh, the cat didn't like that.
So the giveaway was very simple. Just tell us your favorite NPC, and part of it was because that's a very easy thing to do, and another part was that I wanted to sort of get a view on what NPCs are working for people, and I was very surprised. A lot of people voted for Jim the Gem, and I personally thought every single person hated Jim the Gem. I could not wait for the squatter to get rid of him.
Oh, I loved him.
So there's a tendency towards the viewership loving the most detestable characters the most.
Yeah.
Like, Haydet is a very annoying person to listen to. It sounds like a fucking say that. Everyone's like, yeah, Haydet, no.
Hey, it's going to be around in the podcast forever, longer than you, all of you.
Because he's a god.
See, even Jules can do Haydet after I'm gone.
I hope she does.
It's my Ziglamel that needs work.
Oh yeah, that little syrupy bee. Hi, I'm just a debutante from down New Orleans way. Trying to find a spicy plantain.
Yeah.
Oh,
See,
my.
Everybody thinks I
Yes,
don't
of
do
course.
voices because I didn't do a voice for Marley and Sasha. It's
What
because
are you talking about?
I never.
Marley from Dapton is up there. There will be blood.
Well, I mean, I never thought Marley and Sasha were actually going to meet, but Brad is actually sending Marley and Sasha to the same place. So now I have to consider: does Marley sound different to Sasha? Like
they're the exact same
like
voice.
when you talk and you think you sound a certain way, but then when you hear yourself, you sound completely different. Is it gonna be like that? You know? Yeah. I don't know. True.
Okay, we'll get to some of the entries.
Okay, KP, you're gonna need to tell me how Marley and Sasha sound different, if that's true.
Oh yeah, KP. I'm very interested because I don't think they sound different, and I've heard both of them talk a lot. So we had a lot of people, saying Jim the Gem, which was a huge surprise to me. A few people said Foxworthy is their favourite NPC, and I totally get that because
He's the best!
if you take out the 2 times where he's talked, you get he's constantly just referred to as like everyone's favourite good boy, and I think that's just sort of like.
It's because he's such a good boy!
There were
Chinese propaganda. That's all their voices.
there were a few for Haydet, so screw you, all the haters. Haydet's gonna hate. I got a very last minute entry about an hour before the stream of someone saying Jobler. So hooray!
Hey, Jongler!
Jobler has everything you need. Quite
The pan-ethnic everybody. I'm so into it.
quite a few people put in votes for the Kiori, or the mouse people,
Cool.
including one person specifically named their favourite NPC as Melsilder, who was
Melsilder!
I know, I
it was
thought you'd like
the joke
that.
I didn't get, and who briefly made an appearance in Chapter 3.
My crowning achievement is Melsilder.
So, without any further ado, what we can do is, if anyone else has a die a d20 on them. Feel free to roll it, or I will roll it, and we'll.
I mean, I
pick
can.
what-
I can roll it out of this Wayward Masquerade dragon bagging.
Yeah,
Only
this
thing keeping you
works.
from a collection of Beanie Babies.
I mean,
So we're gonna do 3 draws. The first,
I'll take this dice that Wizards of the Coast sent us once because they heard about us and I got all excited.
Oh, Graham and Larry show just got a reference. Meme.
Graham and Larry, nice.
Down by a river.
Okay.
Oh,
are we
go on,
ready?
give us a bit of Graham and
I
Larry.
forget what was happening. It was just 2 gate guards, eh?
Yeah, in Dantoneer. So the first draw. So first person that we roll up will get a set of dice, a dice wand from Dice Vault. These are very cool. These are my favorite set of dice, and they will be kind of like that.
Okay, so if you got a list or something and I'm just rolling.
Hang on, and the second draw will get that as well. But the third draw will get a T-shirt of their choosing from our merch store, which anyone who's interested can go to bit.ly/isenshop to look at the ones that are available. So yeah, if you roll up and tell me a number, and I will tell you who wins the first dice set.
13. Unlucky for some, not for this person.
Okay, 13. That is... oh, hang on. You know what? Let's do this right.
Reroll. No.
Raspberry Milkshake wins
Woo!
first set of dice.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. All right. Okay, second roll up.
Okay, second roll.
Oh, do I have to roll a chaos curse for that?
Oh, it's a 1. It's a 1. That is our very good friend who joined us on the podcast recently, Waffles.
Hey, Waffles. Okay,
Okay, Waffles gets a set of dice.
last
a dice wand from Dice Vault.
one.
Okay, and this one is for the T-shirt from our merch store. So we'll have to get in touch to talk about things like what one you want, and
That
the
is
fit that works for
a
you.
7.
7. Okay, 7. Reese Howard.
Reese! Yay!
Everyone find Reese Howard online and send him.
He's in the
T-shirt
chat.
sizes.
He's in the chat.
He's squished in the chat.
Oh, that's cool. I love that. Everybody's here,
Yeah, all the
literally
people on
live watching their winning, and I like that. That's fun.
Get Oprah Winfrey. Right?
Cute.
Oh, that's really cute.
We'll
Oh,
roll
look,
the
they're
dice
all
again, and the winner can have this used Nivea for Men.
Who wants to win Oliver's used deodorant? Let's roll again.
Oh, no, Gerard really wants it, apparently.
Is it a roll-on? Is it a roll-on? That adds
It
to
is
the
a
joke.
roll on.
This is a punishment roll?
Punishment roll, you have to get it. I'll drive to your house. I have access to real estate databases. I will find you.
Nice.
So the podcast, The Fate of Isen, is 3 years old. Does anyone either in the chat or out of all of you have anything you want to say about that? Because that's pretty much it from me. Goodbye. The podcast is over. See you later, everyone. I'm done.
That is not true, because Brad promised us, he promised that we would get to level 20. I mean, Banfor's not going to get to level 20, but, well, I mean, who knows? Maybe he will come back right at the end to kill us all.
Actually, speaking on that, I have actually got a plan for Banfor.
A plan for Banfor.
Because of the amazing choice that he made, he is now sitting on a rock in space in front of the God of Power. He is in a realm where raw power is constantly just moving in and out. Banfor is sitting there passively absorbing the biggest power in the universe. It completely stands to reason that he could just appear at level 50 if he wanted to.
Holy crap. Yeah, see, maybe the fans will get the Banfor versus Marley fight they've all been waiting for.
More like beef 4, am I right?
Oh, so not worth the wait.
dear.
Who are you?
I do imagine him sort of sitting cross-legged in a zen-like state.
Just getting swole.
Yeah, just every now and then sort of experiencing some really quite hefty gas, but you know.
just burping up like yesterday's whole kebabs. Okay. Yeah, if no one has anything to add, then let's say goodbye for now.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would just want to say a big thank you, really, to everybody who listens, supports us, and shares with friends, and even just presses like and follow and subscribe and all of those things, because it means a lot to us. I know that nothing cheers me up on a bad day more than seeing somebody comment or share or listen or to our silliness. So thank you for doing that. And I don't know if you actually realize how much you out there, these Fateys, these people that I love so much, have done for me personally, but you legitimized me as a professional DM somehow. Because of you, I got headhunted by a professional DM service, and I'm now being paid weekly to run games for people. So,
And I, the DM, did it.
So I love you all very, very, very much. You've done amazing things for me in my life, and yeah, shame, according to Gerard. I love you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I know some people have been asking for it. I can definitely play the song. My name is Molly Craft. I can't sing it. I think you can hear the music though, maybe. I don't know. Shall I try it?
Bang bang.
Bang, bang.
I'll give it a go.
My name is Molly Craft.
Do it.
Maybe
Yeah,
you've
that's right.
heard of me.
Aw.
yeah.
Andrew Big Cat says, thanks for introducing me to D&D. Now I own way too many dice.
Andrew.
Sorry we gave you a problem.
Do I make you laugh? Okay, well I'll try much harder. I'll tell you.
Is that playing something? Or are you just making faces at your computer?
No, it's playing.
I can kind of hear
Hear
it.
something sort of
I
rustling on the
live on the side of
Sorry,
It's
the
like
road before I got
it sounds like
kidnapped by
like an
mountain
inspirational
fever.
going away to
I
college
escaped.
soundtrack.
I traveled. I sang
This year,
for
I'm gonna pass my courses. This year it's different. I'm not one of the high school freaks anymore. Now I'm an adult, and there aren't cliques in the real world. That's not something that happens. This year will be different.
This is Marcus's personal mantra.
It's what I say to myself in the mirror every morning.
Maybe you've heard of me.
Alright, let's end this before it gets super
that's
weird.
really strange.
Thank you all for being players in my silly game. Pretend to be kind of a fantasy author for a little while.
Okay, well I'll blow
Yeah, thank you Oliver
much
for
harder.
making time in your schedule to join us tonight.
You're welcome. It was a joy to see all your faces again.
Likewise. What an alive to be timed.
And became the Apple Squadron. We try to help fight up fail. Not sure we're actually
Making it better.
Francis came,
So we've
fucked us
evolved
up. Even get started on Friday. Not sure what
Bye everybody.
That's the end of the episode.
Stream.
Hi guys. Molly Craft.
maybe
Professional
you've heard of me. Yes.
For everybody asking, this is the 3-minute version. This is accessible as a Patreon special, so go be a Patreon of ours and you can download this version.
What do you mean? I'm infamous.
And the stream is over.
How dare I see? I
Stop the
was
stream now.
the key.
The song's not finished yet.
Free.
I just finished.
So he
That came out wrong.
Feelings Friday.
It had that.
Guilt
Oh,
with
BRB.
I could
Okay, bye. Bye, everybody. Bye. Bye.
Crap apple tree. I want to
He said he'd be right back.
Why does my family not find me?
Done.